Hey everyone, welcome back to another video on the Twitch channel. Welcome to episode 10, quite a big milestone, the Advent Calendar series. And, whoa, we got fall down trees, that's scary. But anyways, in the last video, we decided to okay, sorry. No, bro, please don't kill me. Please do not kill me. Yeah, they're a little bit OP. The elves, probably why I hate them. But anyways, yeah, in the last episode, we organized all of our scripts, which we can't see since we're on the client. We organized all of our scripts and divided them up into a couple module scripts, which is awesome. And today, we're going to be doing the great episode 10, which is crafting. That's right. So, presents are now going to give you a random material, and we're going to use said material to, well, get stuff. So first things first is I want to get an axe. And right now, I'm just going to grab an axe from the workspace. Okay, no. So it's going to be our axe. Now, we're going to delete our animation or knife script or damage or creator or whatever. That's actually, I'll keep the swing animation. And we're going to delete all these random attachments. We're going to delete this slash trail, and we're going to keep the texture because we need the texture. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make it so that when we click on these trees over here, we can we can get some wood out of them, because like that would be really useful. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a script. We're just going to call it script, and we're just going to do for iv in pairs workspace.decor get children. We're just going to do if v.name is equal to, what was it called? Make sure that all those trees are called one thing. Christmas tree. Then for underscore slash v2 in pairs. What we're going to do is we're just going to set all of these guys to a specific tag. So let's do that. For IV in pairs, so let's get collection service, aka tag service. I just like calling it tag service. Game get service, collection service. I, v2 in pairs. V get children, do if V is a base part, then V dot, we're just gonna do tag service, add tag V2 is a base part, V2 tree. And we're just going to copy. Oh yeah, you also should probably set it to anchor. v2.anchored is equal to true. I'm just going to copy and paste it down here. And so now if we were to go to this part right here, look inside of tags, it has the tree tag, which is awesome. Now what we want is for our, let's find it, our axe. I don't really think we should get like a better axe. Whatever, where's our axe? There it is. Rename it to axe. And let's see. We're gonna get our axe, our handle. We're gonna do local script. Remote event. Then server script. Like always. Now we're gonna first delete this script because we don't need it anymore. It's succeeded in its purpose. We're gonna actually really quickly borrow some code. So we're gonna go to server storage, scripts, weapon scripts, and go to our weapon client, which will, and just paste it in here, because we'll just call this remote event. And we're just gonna call our server script axe server, client script, local script axe client. Boom. Now this will just ensure that we get that. And we're gonna grab to our weapon server and paste that. So this technically is pretty much just a weapon. But we don't want that. We want it to be we don't care about if it's a character or not. So we're gonna adapt this to if tree part. Tree part. Let's just do hit. We're gonna grab our collection service slash tag service. We're now just gonna check to see if it is a tree and give the player some wood, which reminds me, we need to create a wood log model. And we're just gonna Control Shift G to turn it into a union. Call this handle. This into tool and call it wood. Ungroup this guy. We're just gonna put a thing inside of server storage and we're gonna call it materials. And also make it so that you cannot drop these tools because that's something. Make so you can't drop the axe and any materials because it'll be quite weird if you'll be able to do that. But because maybe in the future we'll add a way so you can press Q to drop them. Yeah. So let's go on over to our weapon server or client. What is it? A weapon, not a weapon. What am I thinking? Or axe server. Sorry, my brain is quite mush today. Um, if tree part, then oh yeah, we gotta change this. Hit target. Sorry, tag service has tag tree. We need to get our instance first. Hit target, comma tree. If tree part, then we're gonna set our hits to be equal to 0. We're just gonna do hits plus 1. They're gonna need to hit the tree 5 times to get some wood. So let's do hits plus 1. If hits is equal to 5, not we're just gonna do hits. We're gonna send a message to the client event client fire client player and hit target. What I want to do is I want to make it so that the tree's transparency goes down by 1 hits. I want to make so the hits transparency goes down. We're just going to set this to true to say that it is officially gone. Actually, we'll do hits comma true. And then we'll do comma false. There we go. If hits is equal to 5, then wait, what am I doing? We'll just set this to that. Cause let's say the player changes to another thing, you know? Yeah. If hits is gonna be equal to 5, then local new log is gonna be equal to close enough. We'll adapt it. Materials dot log. Sorry, wood clone. Replace this from new log to new wood. New wood dot parent is gonna be equal to player dot character. Sorry, player dot backpack. So we'll get some wood from that. And all I want to do before this is make it so that, let's see, where do we tell all the players? Oh, yeah, b dot, we're gonna make it so that the axe will spawn. Where is the axe? We'll move this guy into super storage. We're just gonna call him, I'll just leave him there. Axe can be equal to server, game.server storage axe clone. I'm just gonna make that they have the axe equipped. And let's hit play and let's check it out. Whoop, whoop. Ah, my bad. Dot axe clone. And let's see. Whoa, we are inside of a present. That is not good. Whoa, that monster of an elf did not let us test it. That was not very nice. Hopefully it should work. Think I made it work. That is strange. Player argument must be a player object. Oh shoot. I accidentally put PLR. Not bad. Let's hit play again. Now look at that. After 5 hits, we got wood that is anchored. That, I guess we're hackers now. Yeah, I'm a hacker now. Let's go. Well, that's something that we should probably fix. Now I got an axe over here. See if I can get some more wood from over here. Yeah, I don't think we can get any more wood. Let's fix that anchored thing. Um, wait, it isn't even anchored. Oh, that's the axe, my bad. Wood equals false, and let's also set ankle equals false. First ankle, there it is. One last test before we hit play. I mean, before we create our little crafting bench. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, so what I think was going on was that if you were to go to Axe server, hits is actually not back to one again. I mean, hits is not equal to zero again, which is why it does that. Um, let's go to Axe client and let's just make so that weapon in event dot on client event connect function do that's Axe server. What did we send? Hit target. So we're just gonna set this to part dot transparency is equal to 1. We're gonna just wait 1 second and set it back to 0 again. A final test, I promise. 2, 3, 4, 5. And look at that. It waits a second, and we can also. That is really, really cool, except for the fact that this dumb elf. No, bro, no, no. Please spare me. Okay, there we go. We're safe from the elves. Alright, so we got quite a little bit of wood, but we need to find a way to be able to. Oh, now I just died. We need to find a way to be able to use that wood. So what I want is for there to be a random like table that we can use to make this work. So um let's see. What I want is for there to be a random table on the map So like we'll just set our table to near our home base. So let's see. What I want is for our home base to be a sort of spot of safety so that it doesn't really get so that we don't have any monsters trying to kill us while we're just chilling. So let's do this. And let's just make it a big circle. Actually, why am I making it a circle? It should be more of a sphere. Spear. And grab our game map, go to our spear, paste it in here. Hey, that rhyme, nice. And let's just do this. Set the transparency to 1. Actually, sorry, 0. Set this to force field. Turn off the shadow. And set this to anchor true. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a new collision group. We're gonna call it non-zombie zone. We're gonna call it safe zone. And we're gonna give the tag to this guy. Workspace dot part dot collision group is gonna be equal to safe zone. And let's see, is that a feel like that's way too big of a spot, so let's just make it a little bit smaller. And yeah, that seems good enough. And let's make it nice and green. And let's make it so that this guy cannot collide with safe zone present can collide with safe zone. Let's make it so that everything can collide with safe zone except yeah. Alright, so now if you're to hit play, look at this. We run on over to the safe zone. And let's see, will a monster try to attack us? Yeah, see, look at that zombie. He's trying to get us. And uh-oh, he's trying to they can't get to us. They're trying to now if we climb on the Christmas tree, yeah, they can get us through there, but it's a pretty chill zone to mine some wood. But they will try to attack you if you get too close to the edge of the border. It's a pretty chill zone. Oh, whoa. Um, yeah, that seems pretty cool. Yeah, so now what I want is just because we have a safe zone, that means we can just camp in there until the end. So we're gonna prevent an anti by making it so that um let's see. We're just gonna create an anti-cam system by doing a this guy right here. Game over is equal to true. All that's gonna do is just stop presence from spawning, and we're just gonna do repeat. We're gonna do a repeat until workspace.monsters get children is equal to 0. I'm gonna do repeat task dot wait 1, and we're just gonna do this. Finish killing the monsters to start a new round. And we're gonna set the cooldown to mass dot huge. So let's just do 4, 1, and 5 do. so we can actually test this out. 58, 157, 156, 155. Ooh, attempt to call a number value. Okay, we can't really do math dot huge. Instead of math dot huge, let's just do 100,000. Wait, 100,000 million billion, 1 billion seconds. And we'll just make it there. So you are just gonna have to, let's try to survive for the next. Hmm. Nice. So finish killing all the monsters, start a new round. Although I do kind of want it to say 999,000. So 59940. All right, let's just. Sorry, I just want it to be just a little bit perfect. Okay, I'm not gonna test it, but now let's create a little quote unquote crafting table, if that makes sense. This is just gonna give us a Minecraft crafting table. Actually, was that guy? Spawn one. Yeah, I like this one very much. So we're just gonna make um and let's just do a quick little interact. So we're just gonna create a part in this guy and whoa, this part. Uh, let's delete this part. Let's create a part via the part system at the top. Move it in here. Set its orientation to 000. Set it to 1, 1, 1, and move it just a little bit up inside of the air. Whoop, not there. And anchor can collide off. We're just gonna glide off transparency 1, and we're gonna call it studio part. Not studio. What? Hang on. I'm gonna call it the interact. Not call it the interact part. Um, interact part. And I'm just gonna sprinkle. Actually, sorry, we're gonna set interact part to a. Did I not set it? Oh, you have to move interact part into the crafting table. My bad. And go to tags and create another one called interact and control C, control V. Where's this guy? Up here. Yup. And I'm just gonna duplicate this around the Christmas tree. Boom. There we go. That seems perfect. Um, what else? Now we're just gonna go ahead to not main. What am I doing? We're gonna create a new script. I'm gonna call it crafting. And we're just gonna do local collections search tag service. It's equal to game get service collection service and tag service local I parts is equal to tag service get tagged interact part for I part in Hi, parts do local new prompt is equal to instance dot new proximity prompt, new prompt requires line of sight is equal to false. New prompt dot action text is equal to that. New prompt dot object text is equal to this. And all this is going to do is create a little floating E on top of it and do new prompt dot triggered connect function. And let's just do a new event and we're going to call it crafting client. Okay, crafting client sounds pretty crafty if you ask me. And we're just going to do crafting, do local replicated storage is equal to game get service replicated storage. Local events is going to be equal to replicated storage events. Local crafting event is going to be to events dot crafting client. We're going to do crafting fire client blur blur. Awesome. So now we're going to create the crafting UI, which all we're going to do is create a little UI by going to game UI. That's where we're going to create a new frame and we're going to call it crafting frame. And we're just going to set it to 0, 0.25 comma 0 comma 0.25 comma 0. Sorry. Let's do 5 at 5. And 0.15 for 5. That is not correct. 25. 25. Oh shoot. Sorry, not 25 pixels. 0.25. Boom. Now I got a little crafting window. I mean, actually, let's do 7.5. 7.5. And then 1.25. 1.25. There we go. That seems big enough. And let's copy the same UI corner, paste it in there, and set this to a nice little. Nah, I don't feel like that. Let's see. What would be a nice little color to represent the crafting UI? I don't like this color a little bit. We got a nice little. Actually, let's lower down the. There. And we're gonna call it. That doesn't seem centered to me. Cool. There we go. That's a little bit more centered. Wait, let me just. Did I not center this? There. How about that? That seems centered enough. We're just gonna call this screen right here crafting frame text label. We're gonna create a little title label at the top. And we're gonna set this to 0.1010. Sorry, 10.10. So let's do 0.15. Set the background transparency to 1. Set this to text scaled. Set this font face to will be a pretty good font. And I think Ubuntu would be a pretty good font. And actually, hang on. Josephine Sands, nah. Boy Gothic. I feel like we should do a Remo, that's Arial. Oswald, nah. I just want like a. Alright, you know what? Fun. We'll stick with that crafting. And we're just going to create a new frame inside of this frame. I'm gonna set this boom, and then we're just gonna do a little. Actually, let's have a tape. I'm gonna create a materials frame and set this to be a little bit darker. Sorry, the this guy to be a little bit darker. Um, and we're just gonna do a little 0.30 0.33. That's not correct. Let's just do a 0.3 comma 0 comma 0 3 comma 0. I'm sorry, 0.85 comma 0. That seems good. We just want a small little, let's do 1 3. And we're just gonna set it over here. Let's make it a bit smaller. And we're just gonna duplicate this crafting frame, put it on the other side, and then we're gonna make it smaller, and I'm gonna call this recipe, something like this. I'm gonna call this ingredients. How about that? And then we're gonna call this recipes. Actually, I feel like it'll look better without these labels. This is gonna be recipe frame. This is gonna be um craft frame. How about that? This is going to be the frame where you select your recipe, and this is going to be the frame where you craft it. So, this is getting quite long. See how much we're at. 32 minutes, longest video yet. Holy cow. Sorry, just need a little stretch break. Gonna get our, scrolling. Okay, we'll just scroll in there. Yeah, and we'll just do 1 comma 0, between 1 comma 0 comma 1 comma 0, and set the transparency to 1. And we're just gonna set under scrolling elastic behavior when scrollable to 0, 0, 0, 0. Cool. And we're just gonna call this recipes. And we're just gonna create a new frame. We're gonna create a new grid layout. Add our little corner into our frame. Copy this thing. Paste it in here. Make it just a tad bit darker. Add some. I don't want it to be right there, so let's just do like a little 0.9, 0.9, which will lower it down by a little bit. 0.05, 0.05. That should be good for now. And if we were to paste it, yeah, and we're just gonna set this to always. There should be a, there it is. Yep. And now if there's multiple frames, we can just scroll down. Just create a whole bunch of frames, so that's how it's gonna look. Pretty fancy, to be honest. So let's delete all those frames. Let's create one frame. We're gonna call it sample. And we're just gonna do a little text for now. Um, we're just gonna do text label. Um, name. Sorry, that was a speck on my screen. It looked like a dash. Uh, and let's just do 0.11. Sorry, what's 0.1 comma 0 comma 1 comma 0? Sorry, never mind. 1 comma 0 comma point 1 comma 0. Let's just do point 2, not 0, 0.2. Just gonna go set it down by 0.8. We're gonna do scaled. We're gonna do 255, 255, 255. Then set this stroke transparency to 0. So we got our little name guy. And instead of 0.8, we'll just do 0.75. How about that? 75. So it's just a little bit above the thing. And we'll just create a image label. And we'll just, in my free time, I'll add a image into there. One. Set its z index to -1. Right, that looks pretty good as a drafting UI. Now, all I want now is to create a small little button at the top that'll allow us to exit the frame. So we're just gonna call it text button, exit, put just an X there, scale it, and set its thing to 25500. Add in our UI corner. And set it to 0.050, 0.0250. That's a little bit too small. Actually, that looks perfect. Yeah. Actually, I want to make it a little bit bigger. Boom. Make it so that it's just a tiny bit out of the exit box like that. And we're just gonna turn off, uh, um, go over to our craft frame, no, our recipe frame, and invis our sample. And boom, that looks like a pretty good crafting frame. I'm gonna invis it. And now that we've gotten that, we should probably get some recipes loaded. So inside of our replicated storage, we're going to create a new folder and we're going to call it recipes. And we're going to get started by creating a new folder, calling it our recipe name, sticky keys. Jump scared me there. Um, we're gonna call it our recipe name. Let's see, what would be a good recipe name? Sword. So let's just create a stick. So instead of our weapons showing up in our presents are going to give us like more materials. So stick, linked sword, I'm sorry, linked sword, and where if you go to server storage, weapons, rate sword, and got that loaded. So for each weapon, we're just gonna go into here, create a new int value, and we'll just add in some materials. So let's just say wood. I need 2 wood. How about that? Linked sword. You are not going to be needing a UI corner. Link sword, we need 5 wood. Sorry, not link sword, what am I saying? Regular sword. 5 wood and stone, 30 stone. And for the great sword, we're gonna need 10 wood, 5 stone, and iron, 3. Cool. So now let's go ahead and quite a lot of stuff, I know, but bear with me here. Our episode is already 40 minutes along the way. I literally went into this knowing that it's going to be an hour-long video, so we might break the hour limit, which will be quite crazy. Local script. I'm gonna call this script our crafting client. Go to local. Holy cow, it's darkened outside of my house. Local replicated storage is going to be equal to game get service replicated storage. Local event is going to be equal to replicated service events. Local crafting client is going to be equal to. Actually, I want to change this because we also want to send feedback to the server. So, scrolled way too far. Replicated storage. Where's replicated storage? There it is. Events. I'm going to change this to just crafting event. Crafting event is going to be equal to. Sorry. Wait for child events. Events. Wait for child. Crafting event. Right. Back server. Crafting. Back server. My bad. We're just a crafting event. Cool. And crafting event on. Wait, that is correct though. So why am I not getting any on? There we go. On client event connect function. We're just gonna make our just gonna make it show up all the recipes and we can click on which recipe we want. Easy enough. So we're just gonna do local. Actually, let's also create our recipes. It's gonna be equal to replicated storage, wait for child. We don't have to wait for child for this one. Fine, just to make it look nice and organized, we're just gonna do wait for child. Now we're gonna do crafting event on client event is gonna do for underscore comma recipe in pairs recipes. I just had a brain blank there. Get children do new that. And this is pretty perfect. Script.parent.recipe frame dot sample, sorry, recipe frame dot parent dot recipe frame dot sample recipes dot sample clone dot recipes, and we're just gonna set the speed dot. Did I do the same? Right, we're just gonna call this image, and we're just gonna call this title. Just set the title text to be equal to recipe.name, and yeah, and then what I want to do is script.parent.recipe frame, sorry, script.parent.close. What did I call that? Text button to close exits dot exit dot mouse button one click connect function. It's gonna make it delete everything the recipe for button in pairs script.parent.recipe frame.recipes get children do if button is a frame then if button is a frame and button.visible is equal to true, so we don't delete our poor core sample, which just realized it shouldn't be a frame, it should be a text button. That is awesome sauce. Being framed up as is equal to true, and just copy paste this over. Remove the if you're wondering the reason why it's supposed to be a text button is so that you can actually like click on it. Yeah, wait, we gotta steal our color. Now can delete that. And I'm gonna call it sample. Set it to visible to false. Boom. If button is a text button and button is like the true button, destroy. We don't want to see it. So now, oh yeah, we also have to set our this one's visibility to true/false. So script.parent.visible is equal to true. Set this script.parent.visible is equal to false. And turn this guy's visibility to false. And let's hit play. And let's check out our crafting UI. And I'm generally gonna be really surprised if if everything works. Which, like I said, I would be surprised if everything works. Everything does not work. Ooh. Crafting. Rid of the part. It's a big prompt. That's sad. 7, 6. Woo. Oh shoot, I forgot to comment this out because we're gonna be using this guy later. And also, just want to make it so that on the local, sorry, my dog is barking again. While I'm finding the script, I just wanted to know I have gotten my stuff in order, and I'm actually recording this on Monday. Yeah, we're just gonna do else if seconds is equal to 0, then and then else if count dot text is equal to minutes dot comma 00. So we have that extra 0. Although I do think it works. Actually, I don't know. Anyways, we're gonna go to TimeScript, kill that, and let's go back here. Now we're gonna try. And interact. None of them are visible. That is great. That's very easy to do. New frame dot visible is equal to true. So let's just wait. And boom, now we got all of our items that we can craft. But if we click on them, Of course, nothing shows up over here. So yeah, that's what we're gonna have to add next. And I also want to get this back to 120. Main, where's main? Main 120. Actually, because I just realized this literally is, where's that thing? Time script. This literally is, of course, it's gonna be like that. We're gonna go back over to main. If it's this is gonna be equal to this, we're just gonna set this to infinity, and we won't play. We're now gonna go back to crafting frame, create, make this visible again, go to our craft frame, create a new frame, and this is gonna be where our item goes. So our items, visibility, item icon. Gonna call this the icon, and that's way too small. 0.9. By the way, this 122 times 122 thing really helps when you're trying to make something like that. So we're gonna duplicate our corner into here, and we are going to grab our crafting sample, background color 3, icon, paste that in there, create a new image label, set this to 1010, background transparency 1, remove this placeholder. Cool. Image. And frame. So we're gonna do this, this, sorry, this. And this is gonna be our actually, this is a scrolling frame. We're gonna do it like this. We're just gonna set this to 1.250, 0.250. That looks perfect for now. And make this a corner. Um, icon, frame, boom. And we're gonna go to a scrolling frame, we're gonna call it materials. 0000. Set this to Y when scrollable. And when scrollable, cool. And we're gonna create a new text UI list layout. And we're gonna create a text label. If you're to notice, if we duplicate these, we're gonna have more like this, just like how we had our stuff. We're just gonna do 0.1010. Sorry, 10.10. It's very small. Let's do 0.25. Actually, 0.5. So let's do text scaled. Background frequency equal to 1. And let's see. gonna set our text color 0, 2, 5, and we're just gonna set it to boom. That seems like, and then we're just gonna set our name to sample and set the visibility to false. And finally, we're gonna create our craft buttons. We're gonna create a new text button instead of wrapped frame. I'm gonna do 0.15010 150. Sorry, I always get my X's and Y's mixed up, which is not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. And we're just gonna make it nice and big. Call it left. Make it white. You won't be able to see it. Just give me some time. I'll make it look good. I want a nice little dark green color. And instead of Store Sans Pro, let's change it to Highway Gothic. Highway Gothic looks nice. And we're just gonna create a little UI stroke. I'm gonna set it to no fixed size. The actual border, add in our corner. Actually, I don't really like the stroke. I think it looks good as is. Um, Now I think that looks pretty perfect. Okay, so what we're gonna do is thinking about it. I want to create a frame inside of this frame so that whenever there's nothing selected, we can just turn off all that so we don't have to see it. So 1010 transfer to 1. If you don't understand what I was talking about, I'll just show you. And boom. Let's go to craft frame. Now I'll say there's nothing selected. You can just turn the visibility of this to off. So we'll just see all of our items in this off. So let's now go ahead and see. Mm, So let's actually create a um let's actually create a module which will allow us to see how much of each item we have. So folders, folder, we call it module. Going to create a new module script. I'm gonna call it count. Local count feature count. Create a function. Call it count.count item player and item name. Do for I local tool is equal to player. Hang on. I'm just gonna do instance find first descendant. Find first child, which is a tool. Change this to player dot character. If tool, then tool dot name tool dot parent will be equal to. Actually, let's just do count is equal to 0 if tool and tool dot name is going to be equal to the item name, then count plus equals 1. And all we need to do is we're just gonna loop we do the backpack. If v.name is equal to the item name, then count plus equals 1 and return count. And we're just going to remove. We're going to create another function and we're going to call this take item count. Why are you guys alerting? Oh, we're going to do count with a C. And boom, item count. And item count plus minus equals 1 and tool destroy. And we're not going to return anything this time. Why are you still mad at me, bro? Always, I'm going to ask this assistant here to see if it'll at least assist in whatever error is going on. What the heck do you mean unreachable code? Alright, we're just gonna do item count if that's really all you want. And not do this. Are you still mad at me? Do you want me to indent this then? Because if you want, I'll happily indent it. Although I've never. What? All my endings are done properly. Oh, alright. I am an imbecile. You aren't supposed to have dues on there for some reason. I don't know why it's the case, but we can't. Okay. I don't care. Thank you, assistant, for helping out with nothing. Assistant's actually a pretty useful tool, nonetheless, to figure out what's going on with your code. So yeah, useful idea to use it. Um, what I want to do now is um, if v.name is equal to item.name, and just quickly make sure if item count is equal to 1, then return, and if item name destroy, sorry, v destroy, item name is equal to 0, and then if sorry, item count is equal to 0, visible 0, and if item count is equal to 0, then return. So we don't have to go around deleting random stuff. Okay, so Now we have some useful tools and stuff that we can use to help with our process. So we don't need TypeScript anymore. Um, we're gonna go back to our crafting client, and this is what I wanted to toggle comment, Control X, new frame dot mouse button one click connect function, and do this. New item is going to be equal to script dot item frame clone. New item dot parent is going to be equal to new frame dot items. Let's see. Mm, new material is going to be equal, and all this is going to do is we're just going to do new frame. Sorry, we're going to actually do a script dot parent dot recipe frame dot, sorry, script dot parent dot count. What's the other frame? Wait, shoot. Craft frame, my bad. Dot visible is equal to true, and just gonna do local so collected item is equal to that, and set selected item to be equal to that. So all this is going to do is eventually in the future, once we have our craft button, when we click it, it'll look for a selected item. If there's a selected item, then we're just going to run the craft through that. So yeah, pretty cool. Now what we got to do is just make it so that those materials show up. Material for recipe. Get children. It's going to be equal to script dot parent dot craft frame dot um frame. We're going to have to do craft frame dot frame dot visible be equal to false, so that we won't see that little frame. It'll just show up as nothing. It's equal to true once we actually select an item. Selected item is going to be equal to new frame dot name. Script name dot materials dot sample clone is going to be equal to holy whatever this is, and item name dot dot parentheses x dot dot item dot value dot dot close parentheses, and let's see, new material dot visible is equal to true. And now what we're going to want to do is, let's say we select another item. We want the items for the previous material to disappear, right? So we're just going to duplicate. Actually, we don't need to duplicate this. We can do for underscore item in pairs script dot parent dot craft frame dot materials get children do if v dot is a if sorry item is a text label and item dot visible is equal to true, then item destroy. So now let's um we're gonna just make this invisible. Hit play, and let's test this out. Also, we can quickly test to see if it's going to say infinity. It won't say infinity. Okay, we got an error. Is that an error? Okay. This is why we don't have to fully trust AI code. Item dot text. And also, I think it would make sense if the player actually spawned in the safe zone to begin with. So let's see. T part. And we're just gonna do boom. And let's rotate. Boom. 90. Hit play. So now this should work. Yet another reason why you should actually look at AI's code. See, yep, we can now see all the items required to craft the specific items. Now we just need to get the craft button to work. But before we get the craft button to work, there's some things that we should work on. And we can also set this way as well. We should probably work on actually getting these items. So let's go ahead and do that now. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go inside of materials and we're gonna create some more materials. By create, I mean so looking inside a model. So for stone, you can just search up stone, and that's a pretty good looking stone. Delete, make it like a boulder. Sorry, like pretty small, small enough to hold in your hand. Actually reminds me, we should probably also make our wood small as well. Um, and make that. I mean, 3.2. It's perfect. Cool Grip Editor. Let's. Holy cow. Only now I realize that that is huge. Let's make it a bit smaller. Boom. That looks good enough. And let's make our stone. Actually, what I want to do is just make this like this so we can actually so we don't see the other half. Call this handle, create a new tool, call this tool stone, and put it inside of our handle. And we're just gonna make it. Actually, what I want to do is copy this, paste, go down here and duplicate. Boom, bam, bot, rotate so that it's like this, something like this. We're just gonna have to rotate it so that it's like, eh, is that good enough? Yeah, there we go. Let's actually just look for a, um, we're just gonna look for, is this good enough? Nah, we need a realistic, no, we need like a rock. Or like, how about a boulder? Uh, so you know what? That looks perfect enough. Whoa. Uh, yeah, sure. Let's just go with this. Let's make it a one. Make it stone. A handle. I think all that is good as it is. And we're just gonna go to stone, hit a new tag. We're gonna call it present droppable, just like that. And let's see what else. Iron is gonna be something that we're gonna need. It's gonna need an iron ingot. Um, imagine we use that. That'd be crazy. Let's just. I like this one. This one's pretty good. Let's make it white, and we're just gonna duplicate this stone. Let iron, not Ron. Um, iron, however you want to spell it. And that's just like that. Copy your steel bar, paste it in here, call it handle. Voxel competitor. That looks good enough. Check the stone, then check the wood. Right, all of them are perfect. So now we're just gonna go over to our um materials, just like so. We're gonna hit our present instead of giving us a tool or sword or whatever. We're just gonna do just gonna copy this. Just gonna do that, comment that out. We'll need that in a little bit. And we're also gonna need a weight system. I forgot about that. So for our presents, no, our materials, our iron, you can tell that I made up this star system last night. No, not last night. Today's Monday, Saturday night. Right after I did the more weapons tutorial. So we're gonna do a weight attribute, set it as a number, hit save. I want iron to be a 1, so pretty hard to get. And we're gonna do attribute weight. Can't click on it. Weight and number save. It's gonna be a 5. So if we do 4, then that'll be a 3% chance of getting anything. Actually, yeah, 4 seems good. And roll item. Mm, we'll just make it so we don't equip the tool because I find that kind of annoying. Get rid of point. Roll item. Where do we roll the item? Item. Am I just blind? Oh wait, that's in the weapons. My bad. Gonna move it out of weapon. Oh, that's the only thing inside of weapons. Well, I guess weapons has just gotten useless. Local function. Don't worry, weapons will have a more a will have something useful as it goes along. Um, instead of weapon item, I'll just be roll item. Local function roll item. Just gonna be weight. It's gonna be equal to v. That attribute weight local tag service is going to be the game get service, collection service, and let's see, v get attribute instead of weapon get children, it's going to be tag service get tag, weapon, present, droppable, instead of weapon, we're just going to do server storage dot materials. And in the weird chance that it doesn't work, actually it should work. Cool. And now we just should have that working. Weapons is now officially useless. Actually, there is one use for it. We can now move it. It will now reside in crafting for a little bit because I thought of one use for it. Actually, wait, no. It actually doesn't have a use at all. Goodbye for now. Not to the camera. Not to you guys. Because it doesn't have a use anymore. What should I do? Now that we got that set up, we're gonna go to our for we're gonna do a mm, so crafting event dot on server event connect function item name. So we're just gonna do local recipe is gonna be replicated storage dot recipes find first child recipe item name. If not recipe, then return. And let's say we do have a recipe. We're going to do a quick little for index v in pairs to a for index item in pairs recipe get children do. Wait, we're going to need our module scripts are replicated. Our modules and our module script and our count module script is we need a count to see if everything is there or not. So if item dot value is greater if is lesser than or equal to count dot count item oh yeah, we're gonna need our player. We're gonna get our player and our item name. Player item dot name then. Wait, sorry, if this is greater, then we're gonna hit return else I'm gonna take item. Item dot name, item dot value, and then we're actually gonna do a separate thing. We're gonna create another for loop. The first one is just to check. Second one is to actually take the items, since let's say they're only missing behind on one thing, we don't want to punish the player. That would be kind of sad. Anyways, now that we've taken all the items, we can now do our weapon. So let's go back to our present. Let's grab this, except New weapon is officially no longer. Where's Axe server? Axe server we need. Crafting. Since it's a crafting server, so we're crafting the server. Get it? Yeah, I'm horrible at jokes. So new weapon is going to be equal to server storage. Do we not have a server storage? We do not have server storage. I'll make a server storage. The game get service, server storage. So we're just gonna do server storage dot um server storage dot what? Sorry, my brain is blanking. Server storage dot weapons. Uh, item name clone, and that should officially work. All we need now is a present. No, not present. My bad. We have to go to crafting client and let's see if actually I don't like how this system's working. We're gonna do item value dot dot slash dot dot um we're gonna go to our modules is equal to replicated storage wait for child modules and we're just gonna do local count will be equal to require require it is not that difficult to spell require twice modules dot count um divided by module count dot count item game dot players dot local player comma wait um item name will be item dot name and yeah so that should be done except what we need to do now is code our final event don't worry script dot parent dot count I mean what's it called craft frame dot frame dot s no that where is it sorry what am I even doing I could just look on here frame dot text button this should be craft button dot craft button dot mouse button one click connect function if selected item is not equal to that then we're gonna do crafting event dot fire server selected item and we are done with coding episode 10 now time for the fun part where we get to test it and see if it works now we're gonna just craft a stick whoa yeah this isn't Python twice but the last time let's go to crafting client and let's hit play for hopefully the last time today. because I'm pretty tired. And let's create a stick. Okay, yep, I know why you said that. What we need to do is hit stop, go to count 9, get children, do, hit play, and to wood. Don't worry, animations will be coming down the road. Whoa! Wait, come on, third time's a charm. Yeah, this is usually how coding is. You finish the long coding haul, and then you have all these bugs. Um, stick, craft, and it still says you have 2 wood, but it doesn't actually let us craft. And anyways, yeah, that is out. That wasn't very nice. So anyways, that is the end of this video. I know it's been quite a long one. I need a break from this for a little bit. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please leave a like, maybe subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in the next video, episode 11, which I have written down somewhere. But yeah, our game has actually been getting pretty close to being complete. And episode 11, we're going to be introducing a new type of weapon. So, yeah. Anyways, goodbye.